move, and I'm showing the world I still got a lot more to prove. Now I'm coming out swinging for your throat to ring. Standing there bleeding, yeah, you know what I bring, you know what I mean? Dark when the bell is rung, cause it's a little too late now to tell me run. You're broken every part of me. I'm putting up baby down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. Calm before the storm. I was born for more, now you got me ready for war. Remember my name, everybody out of my way. Back up or get knocked out, this ain't a game. Cause I never stay down when they push me around. See the world stand up when they give me the crown. Now it's go time, do or die, dead or alive. You can try to kill me, but I will survive. I will survive. You're broken every part of me. I'm putting that baby down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You can't stop me. Can't stop me. No, 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 you can't stop me. I'm bloodied and I'm beaten down. I keep rising higher, 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 higher. You're broken every part of me. I'm burning and I'm beating down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. Can't stop me, no, can't stop me.
You there, Athen?
Fuck, I was muted. Yeah, I was muted.
Of course you're muted.
What's up, all y'all drinkly bastards, and welcome back to 1700 Somewhere. As always, I'm Athen.
I'm Cameron. Before we get started on our topics today, and I do have quite a few interesting ones to go over, I want to reiterate why we do this show, because I've been kicked out of a lot of groups, and I've been blocked and banned, and I've stepped on a lot of toes recently. And for those that don't remember or are just now tuning into our show, the reason we do these shows, specifically this one, is to bring joy and happiness and entertainment and a little bit of cynical torment, I guess, to people that are struggling, specifically the veteran community. Now, this is not to say that only veterans can watch this, but one of our founders is very fond of the phrase, if you're laughing, you're not crying. So that's what we took and ran with here on At 1700 Somewhere. We want you out of that mindset that everything is hopeless, that everything is going to be bad, and life sucks. And that's why we bring you these weird, out there, just deranged stories so you can laugh at somebody else's expense. Because one thing that damn near every veteran I know is we all have a very twisted sense of humor. Quiet, Pepper. That would be the new dog in the background going ape shit. I went fishing for my birthday, and she is very attention needing. So you will hear "oh" for a little bit. until she calms down and realizes I'm home and I'm not leaving again today until I go and get my steak dinner because I'm treating myself. It's my birthday. Screw you. And steak sounds good. So if you are one of those groups that blocked me, banned me, kicked me out, or had forced me to leave, I apologize that you didn't understand the purposes of why we shared to you. I will not be rejoining, but I hope that any new group that accepts me understands that this is why we do these shows. We want to take out of that 22 a day. We want to reduce that number.
And then also at the same point, I don't know if it's the same for Cameron. I don't go out looking for groups to join. It's like you won't find me searching through groups to join groups because every group I'm in, for the most part, I've been invited to. Now, because of like Ale Train Fighters, I might right now at this point go and start looking for some groups that are specifically like gaming and technology and all that stuff focused, so I can go in there to be able to share groups. But other than that small amount of time, pretty much all the groups I'm in, you invited me to, and I figure you invited me because you wanted me to share my stuff there.
No,
So,
that's actually pretty spot on with me. The only group I actively went out was Drinking Bros Singles because they are entertaining, but they let me share the show in there because it's Selfie Sunday and they get to see this pretty face for the next 2 hours. So if you added me to your group or one of your members added me, it's because they wanted to see my content in your page. That's on you, not me. But for those groups that do approve, because there are 3 or 4 of them that actively approve my content in their groups, I appreciate it. I thank you for letting me put my content, Athens content, out there on your pages. We appreciate any shares, any likes, subscribes, follows, all that stuff. We appreciate the hell out of it. We can't tell you how much we appreciate the hell out of it. It helps us out a lot. April, I believe you were asking for merch last week. That link is up and good now for the Second Amendment Ranch.
and I'm working on getting some stuff up for 1700 somewhere. I've drugged my feet because I feel as though it's kind of a wasted effort to drop merch before we have certain amount of like followers. But
I'd like to start doing some giveaways. Though. That's my thing. I'd like to start doing a little bit of giveaways here and there, which y'all failed me again. You know, I wanted 2,000 people following Woe Entertainment. Ooh, she bought a water bottle. Cool. I wanted 2,000 people following Woe Entertainment before my birthday. I wanted 2,000 people following Woe Entertainment before New Year's. I wanted 2,000 people following before Christmas. Couldn't fill out any one of those, so you bastards. But no, we really do enjoy that. Y'all are the reason why we do these shows, because we know it's, you get to listen to that in the background and watch me struggle with it. But we get to make you laugh, especially when a woman decides to shove 2.5 feet of Christmas tree up her hoo-ha. Yeah, I'm sure many of y'all remember that one.
I had a couple of submissions for this week as far as stories go.
I did get those. Those are in here. Although one of the first stories I wanted to cover is the CDC wants you to prepare for a zombie apocalypse. You're right. They've had those out there for years. The government, NATO, there are programs out there designed for a zombie apocalypse.
Even the military, legit, no shit, has a freaking, a plan, a structure for in case of a zombie apocalypse, and they do drills and training on it. So it's
get everybody underway immediately. Mm-hmm. Get them away from the populace. But no, this is actually like, so if zombies were to start roaming the streets, the CDC wants you to be prepared. In the midst of providing guidelines on an unprecedented pandemic, the Center for Disease Control updated its tips for another extreme occurrence, a zombie apocalypse. While the CDC says it began as a tongue-in-cheek campaign, it is actually a practical guide for any emergency like hurricanes, earthquakes, or floods. Mm-hmm. You may laugh now, but what happens when it happens, you'll actually be happy you were prepared for it. Exactly. Hey, maybe you'll learn a thing or two about how to prepare for a real emergency. The CDC, if zombies were to start roaming the streets, says it would conduct an investigation as it would for any disease outbreak and provide assistance to states until it could determine the cause of the outbreak and how it could be treated and stopped. The CDC listed guidelines to follow to be safe than sorry. The first step is to prepare for zombies or any disaster. Create an emergency kit with essentials to last a few days. Kit should include a gallon of water per day for each person, non-perishable food items, medications, tools and supplies, sanitation, hygiene products, clothing, bedding, important documentation, first aid supplies. Next, you should create an emergency plan when a zombie or hurricane is outside your door. That includes identifying the type of emergencies possible in your area, such as tornadoes or earthquakes. Specifically, me would be hurricanes, and now random fucking freezing. Damn it, I dropped the F-bomb. I apologize about that. We are trying to actively reduce those out there. I am sorry. So you need to have a plan. It continues on to talk about prepping for any type of emergency, but it is actively pushing that zombie scenario. Now, the funny part, the reason why I wanted to cover this is a zombie apocalypse is basically any gamer slash veteran slash gun lover's wet dream. You're telling me there is a group of flesh-eating morons that I can shoot now. Is there a bag limit? No. Right. Load up. Now, there are going to be a lot of stupid people out there like, watch me, get a photo with me in his head. Yeah. No. No, the smart people are over here with a heart on, drooling like, yes. Oh, see how much damage I can do. They're having an orgasm just thinking about doing this, let alone it happening. Mm-hmm. You're telling me I can sit on the street in the middle of the city with a 50 BMG mounted to the hood of my truck and fire freely, and there's no consequences? Yes. Okay. Like, that's hog hunting is kind of a step towards that. It's not quite, because you can't go into the city limits and just start blasting hogs that are roaming the city streets. But a zombie apocalypse is that one scenario thrown out there that every person with a gun that loves firearms like me is over here just, oh, God, yes, ready to go. Because we've got food, we've got water, we've got medical supplies and shit like that, and we're not afraid to shoot our buddy when they get bit, but we can just go down and make it rain.
So it's like in my, because I have a survival bag. In my survival bag, I've got a week's worth of food for my entire family, and survival food, the dehydrated stuff, and then I don't necessarily have any actual water on hand, but I have all kinds of solutions for purified water. I have all kinds of solutions for creating fire, and then I've actually even got a high-end slingshot that you could put an attachment on that allows you to fire arrows from it. So,
yeah. So, as much as the CDC says, evacuate, clear the area, proceed like you normally would during any emergency, I'm sorry, CDC. There's a lot of red people out there right around here. That red shows right around here where they're not going to listen. Mm-hmm. My red's right around here. I got a little more sun today. I need it. Working nights, I don't get a lot of it. But yeah, it's as much as you tell us what to do, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, we'll have this dealt with in a week.
Dean Cerny says, I have a pool, 10,000 gallons of water.
Yes, but you also have to dechlorinate that water. As beneficial as having a pool is in an emergency situation. The biggest benefit of having a pool in that situation, however, is fish. If you can dechlorinate the entire pool and use it as a live well, you have fresh food.
All you gotta do is leave the pumps running and stop adding chlorine. And then also at the same time, it depends on what kind of pools, because there's a lot of newer pools or saltwater pools, so they don't have any chlorine.
Yes. So it depends on what fish are in your area, what type of pool you're running. Just be quiet. You're okay. I'm home. So yeah, that's the bigger benefit I see of having a pool is having live food that you can readily access. Because food and ammo are going to be gold at that point in time. That's what you're going to be able to trade. And basic toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste, toilet paper, stuff like that. That's going to be your more beneficial materials to have.
Unlike you can make toothpaste with charcoal and water. So
and toilet paper, all you really need to do is get a shirt you really hate and just wash it every time.
Mm-hmm.
As disgusting as that sounds, it's going to be easier to do, especially trying to haul around a whole bunch of toilet paper. You're taking up valuable space at that point in time.
Or what you could do is you could strip bark from a tree and pulp it and then dry it out. And then you're making your own toilet paper.
Yeah, but that's going old. That's you risk splinters if you don't do that right. And I don't know about you, but toilet paper underway was already bad enough. I would rather use an old shirt and wash the son of a bitch. That's me. So if there is a zombie apocalypse, let us know below in the comments what kind of person you are. Are you going to evacuate? Or are you going to gung-ho this shit and let freedom ring?
So I know this is a story that's more suited for ATF, but I just got a pop-up for it and I wanted to mention it because it seems pretty neat. So a first ever space hurricane detected over the North Pole. I'm not going to actually read the article or anything, but
I saw that. I think I actually have that article.
Oh, really?
I wanted to cover that at the end. So keep that. I don't see it in my tabs, but keep that article up. I did want to talk about that on this show.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, no, I did. I saw that. That one was really concerning to me, and I wanted to kind of put that out there. Now, I have needy animals. Now you know it's our wacky animal segment for today. You can hear the needy animals right now. They are being annoying. But how needy do you have to be to force a plane to make an emergency landing? Yes. Yes. A cat threw a hissy fit in the cockpit and forced the plane to make an emergency landing. The plane had only been airborne for 30 minutes when the cat attacked the pilot. That's right. An outbound plane from Sudan to Qatar had to turn around to its departure point after a grumpy cat got loose on board shortly after takeoff and attacked the pilot, according to a Sudani news. The Boeing 737 was in the air for about a half hour when the cat somehow wandered into the cockpit and the pilot had a difficult time taming it. According to the New York Post, it remains unclear how the passenger got onto the plane, but it's suspected that it had snuck aboard while the jet was in the hangar overnight. Yep. When attempts to restrain the aggressive critter failed, the crew was forced to make an emergency landing. This isn't the first incident of an unruly creature in the skies. In 2019, a scorpion was reported on a United Airlines flight from San Francisco to Atlanta, stinging a passenger.
Well, that's not too unusual because scorpions are they actually do have scorpions native in that part of the world. So
yeah, I can agree with that. But imagine a cat climbing into the cockpit and being like, "Hey,
Yeah, and I was gonna be like,
land."
how the hell did the cat get in the cockpit? Because the 737, their cockpits are like vaults.
Had to be hiding in there. That's all they said is it was in the plane
Hmm.
before takeoff. They believed it was it wandered aboard while it was in the hangar, so that would be the only way. Would be while it was in the hangar, it wandered into the cockpit while it was open and hung out, which is
Yeah.
a really, really, really bad way to find out how lax your security is.
Well,
Like, hey, we got a cat in here. Is there a bomb? Like, that might
Cats
be
can
good to know.
cats can be sneaky though, so
Very, very.
snuck up in there and found a nice little hiding hole. Like, I'm gonna take a nap. Wakes up, like, where the?
Yep. Now, speaking of active animals, this rabbit was real active. Old boy made 24 babies
Oh wow.
in one litter. This cat, March 5th, a North Carolina family's pet rabbit gave birth to a litter of 24 baby bunnies, unofficially tying the Guinness World Record. That's now, ladies, if you've ever had twins or triplets, that's about the equivalent. It's gonna hurt.
That's gonna be more like the what is it?
Octomom.
Yeah, octuplets.
So don't be silly. Wrap your willy. Because I don't know about you, but if I woke up and got a phone call, hey, you're having kids. Okay, how many? 24. Oh. Damn, Alaska's looking real good right now. What are you doing in Alaska? Avoid alimony.
Right.
I can't afford that. 24 kids.
If these guys are breeding rabbits, then
That's payday.
that's yeah. I mean, rabbits aren't really an expensive animal unless you got like one of the special ones. But
Well,
usually,
I mean, if you've got pet snakes, then
yeah, that'd be another thing. You got pet snakes, you got some food for a while, but at the same point, depending on the size of your snake, they're only going to be the size for feeding for
a short amount of time, and past a certain size, they risk giving your snake an infection.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Well, they can hurt
killing
the
it.
snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but then also at the same time, like the Burmese that you're finding in Florida and all that stuff, you'd give them a full size rabbit.
Which,
It's
by
like,
the way, we've covered several times on the show. Now,
Mhm.
Florida's stating you cannot actively breed non-residential reptiles. So unless it's actually a part of the state was naturally there beforehand, so that means no breeding iguanas, no breeding this boas, pythons, stuff like that, because they have become that big of a nuisance.
Well, iguanas are a native animal to Florida, aren't they?
I don't
Pretty sure
think
they are.
so. I think those were originally like Cuban. But that was one of the reptiles they said you can't breed these anymore.
So
I don't have that article up, but it's just when I was finding my stories the other day, which, the past 2 weeks, it had been real calm and quiet trying to find stories. We did find a cover up about the Florida woman blowing up the trash collecting vehicles, but that's really all we were finding. They came strong this week. They came out to play this week. Yeah, and speaking of coming out to play, this turkey wanted to play because this turkey broke into the window of a California's dentist office. Yep, March 5th, an employee at the dentist office in California received a scare when a large turkey came crashing through the window into the patient consultation room. Which, better that room than actually when you're getting a cleaning and having, picks and needles around your gums. Because I don't know about you, I haven't been to the dentist in a while, but every time I go, they make me bleed.
Mm-hmm.
So having a turkey break in while he's got a drill in there might not be a good experience.
All right.
But Donna McDonald, the office manager at Gregory Haley DDS in Fair Oaks, said she was the only person in the office building when she heard the crashing sound that she initially thought may be an earthquake. McDonald said she was shocked to see the cause of the ruckus was actually a turkey that crashed through a window into the empty patient consultation area and was clawing at the walls. He clawed up multiple walls to where we're going to have to repaint in there. Some of the glass came in and cut the dental chairs, and they will need to be deep cleaned. Animal Control referred McDonald to Gold Country Wildlife Rescue, which sent someone to the scene to evict the turkey. Thankfully, there was no wrangling this bird as an amateur. Wildlife lady kind of struggled with it, McDonald said. Wildlife Rescue said the turkey did not appear to be seriously injured and will be released back into the wild. Speaking of wild birds, on my fishing trip today, I saw a lot of ducks. And God, I wish I had a shotgun with me.
Mm.
These were some pretty birds, man. Didn't catch much fish, but I could have bagged my limit on ducks. I know you're not supposed to shoot them in the water, so all you got to do is take a fishing weight real quick, throw it at them, make them take off, and boom! I know it's a dirty way to get your birds, but hey, whatever gets them out of the water. And yes, Dean, turkeys are mean AF. But they taste so good. Oh, they taste so good. That's why every year we're always looking at Thanksgiving like, God, I'm going to put on so much weight. Oh, the food comas that come. So much food.
You know, on Thanksgiving, I usually eat more of the sides than I do like turkey or ham. I'll get like a little piece of turkey or a little piece of ham and get a whole bunch of like, you know, the stuffing and the broccoli and cheese and
depending on how the turkey goes. I like hot turkey. For some reason, my dad, he likes cold turkey. I like mine hot, but he does a really good stuffing. He does a really good stuffing. So I always have a bottle of A1 and hot sauce with me, and I'll go to town on that stuffing. Oh. You missed some of the more fun articles, but we will have more to cover there later on, Dad. Glad you can join us. A Goodwill worker found $5,000 in a donated jacket.
$5,000?
$5,000. How do you have all that luck right there? On March 3rd, employees at a Goodwill store in Texas said it took weeks of searching to find the $5,000 cash that was mistakenly left in the pocket of a jacket that was donated to the store. Officials said a man came into the thrift store's Chains location in Hearst in early February to report that his wife had mistakenly donated an old jacket that had an envelope containing $5,000 cash. Now, why did your wife donate that jacket and you knew it had $5,000 in it, but she didn't? That's my question. Because I don't know about you. If my wife found out that I had $5,000 and it just magically got donated to Goodwill, we ain't getting that jacket until we have a conversation. Why did you have $5,000? Were you buying a boat? Were you buying a gun? Where was that money going, Cameron? You know that gun I've been eyeing for the past few weeks? Yeah, it was on sale. How much was it? $4,900. Oh, so you were buying a new gun? Yes, dear. Shit. I'm not getting that gun, am I? You really? I ought to let them keep that money. That's a lot of money, honey. Yes, Mom, that would actually be Pepper playing with her squeaker toy. She loves that squeaker toy. Oh, she loves playing fetch. She absolutely adores playing fetch. She is such a needy dog. They are anxious to come out and meet Pepper. Davis said workers searched through the donations several days without success. She said the search was slowed with the icy weather that forced the location to be closed for several days. The manager said employee Michaela De La Pena finally found the envelope 3 weeks after the search began. The cash was returned to the customer, and De La Pena was rewarded with a bonus and the Goodwill Medal of Integrity. So good for you, but that husband's having a bad day.
Got a Goodwill Medal of Integrity for returning a jacket that had money in it.
Yep.
I don't know if a Goodwill Medal of Integrity is enough of a reason for me to be like, oh, this jacket I just got from the Goodwill is $5,000.
Well, she also got a bonus, so I wonder how much money they gave her to give her that bonus.
So, um, I don't know. I'd still like to be $5,000 richer. Ain't nobody gonna know anything.
I mean, we're not even going to get a bonus or a COVID relief check, so don't hold your breath. Now, can you imagine being utility workers and finding this? Utility workers found a medieval tunnel while relocating poles in Wales. Yes, sir. On March 4th, a Welsh utility company said workers excavated a trench for relocation of a pole on a customer's property and made an unusual discovery. Previously unknown medieval tunnel. Now, I don't know about y'all. After 2020 and the beginning of 2021, I don't want to find nothing mysterious anymore.
Well, see, in the sense of a medieval tunnel, though, that's going to be one of a couple things. It's either going to be because depending on where it's at, it said it was in Wales. There might have been a castle in the area where that was an escape route from, or it could have been something going back even farther, dealing with like Knights Templar or something like that. So this could be some interesting stuff.
Zombie Knights Templar, right there. 2020, 2021 is not the year to fool around and find out. The Western Power Distribution said members of the company's East Wales team were working in Tintern and the Wye Valley after a customer requested a relocation of a pole on the property. Workers were excavating a trench when they discovered what they initially believed to be a cave, which would be okay. I'm more okay with a cave, not a tunnel. It's like opening a coffin right now. Don't open the coffin. I have been involved. I am very superstitious at this point in time. We have had enough bad juju to last us till 2030. I have been involved in other excavations where we have discovered old wells and cellars not shown on any plans, but nothing as exciting and impressive as this. Further investigation revealed it was a man-made tunnel around 4 feet in height. Oh, so it was for dwarves. Got it. Athen, it's up your hole right there. Oh, where's Combat Cricket? It's perfect for her. He said the tunnel runs under a sidewalk parallel to the Angitty Brook and appears to follow the brook's path. Gore said the team manager called in a representative from Cod, Wales Historic and Cultural Heritage Services. He was very impressed with the sheer scale of the tunnel and quite fascinated to see it. In his opinion, it could be linked to the ironwork ruins previously discovered in the area. The Tintern Abbey Ironworks ruins located nearby the site of the tunnel's discovery date back to the 1100s. Gore said research in the area's history failed to unearth any mentions of the tunnel in ordnance survey maps dating back to the 1700s. He said it also does not appear on any public records. WPD said work on the project was halted while Cod archaeologists take over the investigation. For now, we will have backfilled the trench and reinstalled everything, and we were planning an alternate route for the customer. It could take years before this is concluded. They're going and finding Excalibur. That's what they're going to find.
Well, Excalibur would have been even earlier than 1100. Excalibur is more around like the Roman eras, so I think they're going to be closer to like 800-900.
I can't remember the name of the sword, but this sword actually holds more blood than Excalibur, but it is the sword in the mountain, which is an actual sword in Stone Mountain with a chain running through it, and that thing has a history. I can't remember the name of it. If you get a chance to look it up,
I will do that.
It's dark. It's so fun. If you're a history nut, it's one of those things that like that's a cursed sword. Don't pull it out of the stones like this. It's a hidden cave or a hidden tunnel. Go down it safely, but if you find anything, don't touch it. But speaking of creepy, a California duplex filled with mannequins in every room listed at $650,000 is to be sold as is. So if you want to buy a duplex and have a bunch of creepy mannequins living with you, this is right up your alley. The home in California comes with unusual occupants. The 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom multifamily home at 3695 Primrose Road in South Lake Tahoe has been listed at $650,000 and comes with several mannequins and statues. With a little love, this duplex has a great income property potential. The unassuming property is being represented by realtor Jesse Yonka of the Deb Howard and Company, a premier Lake Tahoe agency. Although the listing doesn't expressly say that fashionable mannequins and statues are included, the listing does say property to be sold as is. Aside from the strange decor, the duplex comes with a one-car garage and a large driveway. The ground level has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, while the upstairs has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Each room appears to be fully furnished and carpeted. Much of the furniture and appliances look to be vintage, which may fall in line with the home's 1962 construction. It was listed in 2008 and 2009 as well, and both times it was listed at $500,000. So it has jumped $150,000. But there's a photo of the mannequins. I don't want that. I don't want that. There's one in what looks to be the bathroom standing above another one right here in the bathroom.
The realtor expects the buyer to hire his own trash hauler.
You don't need one to haul out all those mannequins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any of those.
It's haunted. Carl.
Carl! That one's looking at me.
So I did find some info on that sword. So.
Oh, you did? What was it called?
It's the Sword and the Stone at Montesiepe Chapel.
No, that doesn't sound like that. The right one.
So this is, as you described it, it's a sword in a stone. It's got a little glass bubble over it.
It's no glass bubble. It's a sword and a mountainside stone with a chain running through the backside.
Okay.
I think if you looked up like historical stones, I should probably turn off my screen share. But moving on. Speaking of homes, an Arizona homeowner's planting tree in the backyard finds buried duffel bag filled with guns. That's right. You're living on a... Yeah, oh God, Carl remembers the lady that married the mannequin. Yeah, for those new viewers, we covered an article several months back where a lady married a zombie doll and a Ukrainian man married a sex doll and cheated on her. Yeah. Owners of a home in Arizona were gardening in their backyard on a Sunday when they unearthed a disturbing find, a buried duffel bag filled with guns. The homeowners discovered the bag filled with rusted rifles and handguns while digging a hole near the fence in the yard while trying to plant a tree. After realizing what the bag contained, they called the police immediately. The homeowners handed over guns to detectives who will investigate whether the firearms were used in any crimes. Neighborhood Yaharia Enrique told Fox 10 Phoenix that the discovery was nerve-wracking but also left a lot of unanswered questions. Why'd you bury them there? There has to be a reason. The family has lived in the home for the last 4 years before it had been rented out to several different individuals. So somebody was a drug runner.
Somebody was a drug runner.
Yeah. Now, we talked about the thrift store. Imagine being this grandma that wanted to go and crochet a new jacket for your little grandkid. And instead of just getting yarn, you find a kilo of cocaine. That's right. This Seattle woman found 1 kilo of cocaine in a crochet kit she bought at a thrift shop. The Seattle woman got more than she bargained for when she bought a crochet kit at a thrift shop and discovered a kilogram of cocaine inside, authorities state. The woman purchased the kit to crochet animals' hats around 3 p.m. Sunday afternoon in the city's Greenwood neighborhood, the Seattle Police Department said in the news release. When the crochet hobbyist opened the kit, she found a suspicious package that was encased in yellow rubber with 100% written on the outside. The item also gave off an odd odor. The woman immediately called the police, who seized this suspicious package and later confirmed it contained 2.2 pounds of cocaine. Police did not. Yeah, it's a lot of booger sugar. Police did not say how the crochet kit and narcotics ended up at the thrift shop. Similar incident occurred in Arizona on Sunday when parents bought their child a toy glowworm and found a sandwich bag containing 5,000 pills of fentanyl.
Holy! And a glowworm?
And a glowworm.
What the hell?
Man, thrift shops need to step up their game. Like,
right?
Y'all can buy the cheap stuff up front, but the good stuff's in back, y'all. We got grandma's perks back, y'all.
Grandma went to buy a kit to crochet and said she got a kit to cocaine.
Grandma's gonna have a good retirement now. 100% Colombian booger sugar.
Got the 100% Columbia good.
Yeah, you gonna be awake crocheting for weeks. Grandma's heart gave out. What happened? She was crocheting animal hats. What else was she doing? She found a metric boatload of cocaine and wanted to get all the hats knitted. Grandma even knitted a hat for an alligator. You good?
No, I'm not good. I'm good
water.
now.
Yeah. Grandma knitted a hat for an alligator. Why'd you do that? Cocaine, man. Drugs are bad. Okay. Drugs are bad. Now imagine being this lucky. One shop owner, one Goodwill employee found $5,000. Imagine going to a yard sale and finding a Chinese artifact worth $500,000.
Damn.
They bought the bowl for $30. Yeah. That's a hell of a turnaround right there.
So the bowl was worth $500,000?
Bowl is expected to be worth up to $500,000. $500,000.
I mean, thrift stores, if you know what you're looking for, a lot of times going to like Goodwill or Salvation Army, you can find some good stuff. Like there's people who actually
Grandma found the good.
So I just added a story in the Discord. It kind of goes along with the OSHA stuff, but it's an actual story. So when we go to OSHA break.
Yep, we can get that pulled up. Yeah, this unidentified Connecticut man bought the bowl from a yard sale in New Haven last year and later emailed photos to Sotheby's seeking an evaluation, according to the Associated Press. Appraisers determined it dates back to the Ming Dynasty in the early 1400s and is estimated to be worth between $300,000 and $500,000. The bowl, which Sotheby calls exceptional and rare, will be available to the highest bidder as part of the firm's important Chinese art auction in New York later this month. It's always quite astounding to think that it kind of still happens, that these treasures can still be discovered. It's always really exciting for us as specialists when something we didn't even know existed appears out of seemingly nowhere. Mm-hmm. Of the 6 other bowls of this kind known to exist, Mick Attier said the most are in museums and none are in the United States. 2 of them are in the National Palace Museum in Taipei, Taiwan. 2 are in the museums in London. 1 is in the National Museum of Iran. So they found 1. There's 6 of these. 6. 1 of them was found in America. Bro, that's some dumb luck. Screw you guys. I think that's impressive, to say the least. Now imagine we are getting to our Florida man stories. So I guess we need to take a break for our OSHA violations. We should probably do that first because y'all love our Florida man stories. So let me get this all set up real quick. That's good, and that's good. All right, let's start with that one. Brace yourself, the stupidity ensues. This is their fire alarm.
Protect your ears for emergency use only. I mean, that worked once upon a time.
You're right, once upon a time. I mean, at least their fire extinguisher looks like it's up to date, on code, pressure's good. The fire extinguisher looks pristine. I can't say anything about the fire extinguisher. I can't. It's even got the tag on it, which is more than I can say than most companies I've been to. But the fact that their alarm is a whistle, because you have to imagine this is at every fire alarm or fire extinguisher. So somebody, when they find there's an emergency, has to run up, rip open a Ziploc bag, plug their ears, and blow as loud as they can. 3 short blasts, pause, and repeat until everybody is out of the building, which means they have to run around plugging their ears with a whistle in their mouth and run around over and over again to alert people there's a problem. Other than the fact that their emergency system is a whistle.
Dude running around the building. What are you doing, man? I'm being a fire alarm.
I'm the alarm today, guy. That's as screwed up as this is to say, that's the job that you can give to the mentally disabled. Very effectively, too. There's a problem! There's a problem! Let's go! Get out of the building! They'd be perfect for it. That would be the perfect job for them. It's so wrong to say, but it's so true. Oh, God, Dean, that's really messed up. It's in a retirement home for people with COPD and asthma.
Yeah. So, I mean, true to it, though, like, in developed areas, you know, back before the advent of most of your electronic stuff, they did have whistles that were used to notify people of things like fires.
Like in the 60s.
No, this would be back in even prior to the 1900s, back in the 1800s and 1700s even.
Right, way back when. I could say the earliest we would have something like a whistle like this would be 1960.
Maybe. They might
because
have
their wiring back then wasn't the best,
mm-hmm.
to say anything. But it's all right, moving on. Do you see the problem? For those of you that don't know what that is a industrial space heater.
That's an outdoor heater too.
No, you can use those in warehouses.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
typically
they'll be used for outdoors because, like, that's if you see a heater outside, that's what you're going to see.
Because it glows red, and you can light.
It's like a little jet engine.
And essentially, you can light. Say, if you're desperate enough for a light, you can light a cigarette off of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to blow about half of it away, but you can light a cigarette if you know what you're doing. You can light a cigarette on those. That's how hot they are. This is a plastic barrel of an unknown toxic substance. I can't tell what the hazards are on that. So I couldn't tell you. It looks like it's probably an acid, judging by, I think that's the hand and the burn mark. So I will call it an acid just to play along right now. but you have something putting out hundreds of degrees of heat, not just 100 degrees, several hundred, 400 degrees at this area right here, not 6 inches away from a plastic barrel.
Yeah, to kind of compound on how much heat that thing's putting out, like we mentioned earlier, those heaters are used to heat really large spaces or like the outside.
Yeah, those are what you take when you have a snowstorm and you need to do the job. You put about 5 of those on a job site and you have little areas heated up for your employees so they can go get warm. And they'll warm a good 30 foot by 30 foot room. No problem. We had one in the warehouse when I was ironworking, and they put out heat. But again, they are meant for open, ventilated areas away. What makes it worse is there's another very large plastic tub right here, which I imagine this is probably hydraulic fluid, judging by the lines that are coming off of it.
So, maybe that's just where they store the heater. Maybe it's not,
There's a cable plugged in, though.
Which is
what
funny
makes it worse.
Which is funny because those usually aren't electric, though. Those are usually like a gas-powered propane type machine.
We had the electric ones.
Okay.
We had the electric ones. So that makes... I can understand them being gas. And in fact, this looks like a gas cap right here. But if it's plugged in, something's probably plugged into it. So they're using it for something. If that heater kicks on, that barrel is done. Of course, we always have to have a ladder. Always have to have a ladder.
Question on that one is, how did they get onto the deck?
And why? It's not high enough up for them to safely get on. They had to crawl their way onto this deck. It's not tied off. It's not even the right ladder. And there's a shovel laying on the ladder.
Not even tied, or they're not tied off. There's no safety railing. And then the bracing on those posts there. I mean, I guess that would actually work, but no, because they're not going to be secured in anything on the ground. A bunch of them.
Now, tying off here, if you look at the one to the right, I can see it being a problem to tie off. So the only way they can safely get away with doing work where they're at right now is as long as these are tied in and rated to 225 pounds at the top, 150 pounds, and then like 110 pounds at the bottom. They can run cables around it from one wall all the way around the outside to the other wall. They got to do 3 rows of them, and they have to have a kicker board at the bottom so any tools they drop can't roll out. That's the only way I can see them safely doing that. The other option, which is more costly, would be get a piece of equipment out there like a scissor lift or a boom lift, preferably a boom lift, so you can put it on top of that area and work. And then tie off there.
You could do safety railing on it too. Well, but those posts, you can't get them down far enough to like successfully popsicle stick to give you the leverage on it. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess being tied off would be the only way to do it up there because you can't really give those the ability to support weight by putting boards across them.
No, and that's why if they were going to do that, they can use boards. But again, they have to be rated 225, like 150 and 110 in order to be a safe working area. This dude right here has balls because he's leaning on this post with his back to where he's going to fall.
I don't see those posts being too, like, they're probably just a little wobbly up there. I'd be betting
if they're not tied in yet, yeah, they're probably wobbly, and honestly, it looks like that's what they're doing. Because if they were putting the railing up around the outside, this one would be done. It looks like they're just dropping the posts in to get the railing or get the wraparound done next. So they're screwing up. And it looks like you see right here behind this guy, they're putting a door or a window in this area as well. So they're going to be doing a lot of work and renovations to this area with absolutely no safety equipment. And this dude's just trying to fathom the stupidity. Like, how do you have, because look at it this way, how do you have not one, but two A-frame ladders? This one's way too short. We know that one. But how do you have two A-frame ladders and not have a lean-to ladder on any job site? I've never gone to one job site where I had to do construction and not seen at least 3 lean-to ladders. Normally 12 foot, 12, 15, and like 25 is typically what we kept out there. So that makes no sense to me. And it doesn't even look, if you look right here and right here, it looks like these bottom braces are still being supported.
Yeah, oh yeah, those are definitely supports to like kind of keep it from falling over, but it actually does look like they've got the straps on the top. So that's probably just to make sure that the legs don't wobble. But what I'm noticing is a few of those popsicle sticks that have they're holding it up, they don't have any way for them to be fastened to the ground at the bottom because they're just in the dirt.
Yeah. They're just leaned up to it and nailed in.
Yeah, which that's not going to be a very good support.
No, nails are terrible. You'll rip nails. Screws are better.
No, because of the you want the shear resistance on nails as opposed to screws. So anytime, like when we're doing our houses, anytime we're putting supports up, they're always nailed. But you'll use 4 or 5 nails at the top. Talking framing nails, not.
Yeah, you would know more about that. I did more iron work. You did more residential. But this is just a nightmare to me because yes, even though they're working on houses, OSHA still has a say here. When you do your own stuff at home, technically, even if you own a workshop, if you have your own little workshop, OSHA can come out and look at it, make sure you have safety regulations up to code. So if you have a little shop, you don't have fire extinguishers, you're not keeping flammable liquids in a secure location, stuff like that, you can get hit with an OSHA fine.
That's a lot of weight to put on feet that aren't cured.
Speaking of a flammable box,
yeah,
they have one. They do have the flammable lockbox with sparks flying at it with liquids on top of it.
Right. Well, that's the purpose of the box, so that things inside of it don't catch fire.
Right, but you're not supposed to do any hot work around them. And look at this guy's feet. He doesn't even have a clear working area. Flammable liquids, unclear working area, sparks. This dude wants to go to the moon same day. Oh, I love making fun of stupid people, but sometimes y'all give me a headache. Now I'm going to give y'all a second. You need to read this one.
Well, but what makes me think they did that for a reason is because it says lifeguard staff, which makes me think it's at a pool. And if you're pulling a victim out of the pool and they're wet, last thing you really want to do is strap an AED on them, which is an electrical device that shocks.
The ones they use, I was a lifeguard, the ones we used, and the ones that actually we have even nicer ones nowadays because we had the fancy ones on board the Lano when I was on tugboats. As long as you pat the skin dry, you don't even really need to dry them off fully. As long as the contact points are fairly dry, you're good.
Well, yeah, but average
the fact
Joe
that
Schmo isn't going to know that. So
right. But the fact that their AED box is empty
Mm-hmm.
when your AED is supposed to be stored in an accessible location, somebody had to be screwing with that thing. Somebody was playing with the AED. Plain and simple. Somebody pulled out the AED and tried to shock their thigh.
That might be it. There might have been people playing with it, or just like I said, they might not want people who don't know anything about using an AED in the type of situation that we use.
Did you know an
At full.
AED uses a little D battery?
Yeah, I know. But it's still the fact that there's water can cause the contacts to short. It can cause them to not have a good connection. It can do lots of different things. And a person who like isn't trained in rescue type medicine or emergency type medicine at all in general, and probably doesn't even actually know the last thing about an AED, isn't going to know exactly what to do. So they probably have it there so that if it needs to be used, a lifeguard or someone will be doing it.
Right.
So,
but what happens if you run out there, you're trying to deal with the victim, and oh hell, I forgot the AED. Let me go check the AED box. Crap, I need to go to the front desk. Hey, front desk, where's the AED? Oh, you need to go find the lifeguards. I am the lifeguard. Where's the AED?
well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a smart decision, but I'm saying that's probably what led to that. So as like, they're making a decision based off of a thought. Maybe the lifeguard's always running around with the AED strapped to their hip.
That's a bad idea, by the way. Now, you did send me this video, so let's get all these damn ads closed out. Jesus, Athen.
So this is more of like an actual story. This is kind of why OSHA stuff is so important. So.
Oh, and this is why you don't text and walk.
Yeah, that also.
There was no spotter when he was backing into the street. That's an OSHA hit because anytime you back into a populated area like this, if it's not railed off, you're supposed to have a watcher or a spotter.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was looking at his phone. He's going to get paid. I can tell you right now, he's going to get paid.
No, that person was killed.
Oh, he was killed?
Yeah, backhoe actually backed up over him. And then turned and pulled away. The backhoe driver had no clue they just hit the person.
Yep, she died. Yep,
Yeah.
drove right the hell over her. Yeah, you're out of a job, and that company's getting a huge, as Donald Trump would say, huge. It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big fine.
Yeah,
because
a big lawsuit too.
Oh yeah, that family's going for that company hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you need to have. And I was a spotter in a situation like that. We had a dump or a load truck bringing us materials. We had one area where they could safely get in and out. The other street was really active, so we only had the one side street we utilized. And this woman came barreling down the street, and I had to keep jumping in front of her because she kept trying to whip around me. I'm like, there's a truck backing up right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit me, I'm going to hit you.
Yeah.
If you hit this truck, we're going to sue you because I'm wearing a bright yellow vest saying, hey, don't be stupid.
Yep.
So the spotters are there for a reason, and you need to listen to them. If you ever see this episode, woman, I know it was you. Don't be a bitch. So be cautious, be careful. One of the other reasons I really like to do these shows and talk about stuff like this is education. Education and betterment of people. That's why I love doing the Second Amendment Ranch, because it's constantly about the education. This one makes you laugh. The other one makes you think. But moving on, now it's time for our Florida Man stories. Can you imagine being this stupid? One, how did they even get this on board the plane? But, oh yeah, a passenger used pepper spray on an airplane preparing to take off. If you have ever been in the gas chamber for boot camp, Imagine doing that without the gas mask on an airplane. Yeah.
So they got the like the actual gas that's used in the freaking gas chamber.
No, they use pepper spray.
Okay, because the stuff in the gas chamber is like a CS gas, isn't it?
It's a weaker CS gas. It's CS tablets, and I think they said it's like 10 times less the actual potency of CS gas.
Mm-hmm.
It's I know it's less. It may be only 3 times, but it's still. I hate the gas chamber. If you want to clear your sinuses out, that's a hell of a way to do it, though. I'll tell you that much. Everything, everything that has been backed up since the day you were born is now screaming freedom.
Yep.
No, Scotland gave his speech. They can take our lives, but they can never take our boogers.
And the people who didn't listen when they said, you might want to skip breakfast this morning, or at least don't have any milk.
Don't have
didn't
milk,
believe them.
Don't have a heavy breakfast. I still ate and had milk. I didn't vomit or anything, but I mean, it was just. You have to cup. It's going everywhere. That uniform needs to be washed twice.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. Gunny, if you can't relax, you're gonna have to get off. Go. You can't calm down and sit down and relax. I know you like to wag your butt in the show, but you can't be patient.
But what this story is about is someone pepper sprayed someone on a plane?
Passengers on a flight from Florida, of course, to New Jersey were left feeling salty after their flight was delayed by a man discharging pepper spray on board the plane. The plane for United 1061 from Fort Myers to Newark on Monday was taxiing and preparing to take off when a passenger said he accidentally hit the pepper spray on his keychain. Now, this is very similar to the time we covered a high school student bringing pepper spray thinking it was Axe spray to a school and using. If you've never been in a men's locker room or a boys' locker room in high school with Axe body spray, it's basically pepper spray in the first place. They did the same thing with pepper spray and sprayed it directly into.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Sensitive areas. So, they had to evacuate the whole school. That tells you how much they used it. That kid was in a lot of discomfort. But Joseph Grand, a fellow passenger on the plane, told Fox 4 that he could feel a burning in his throat. Everybody started coughing, and during a COVID outbreak, everybody starts looking around. He grabbed his mask. Passengers, this is the worst time to do something stupid. Passengers were given the option to get off the plane, according to the report. Grandset and his fiance were among those who opted to catch a later flight. She said she was still coughing. I still felt it. I was like, this isn't going away, so that's when we decided to hop off. The United Airlines spokesperson confirmed that the flight returned to the gate due to a disruptive incident involving a customer prior to takeoff. The flight safely departed soon after. Pepper spray is not permitted in carry-on bags, according to the TSA. Passengers can bring a 4-ounce container of mace for pepper spray in a checked bag, as long as it has a safety mechanism to prevent accidental discharge. The TSA told Fox 4 that agents missed the spray canister. Agents at the airport were given a refresher course to ensure they could spot them in the future.
Yeah, because he would have put his keys through the X-ray machine.
Somebody got fired.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money's getting lost, and I think there's going to be a lawsuit.
Because that's their job. They're supposed to watch everything going through the freaking X-ray machine and be like, hey, that looks weird. Maybe I should check that out. You know?
I should probably look at that. That's probably a bad thing to have.
It's like, but my question is, well, no, because the cabins are pressurized. So it couldn't be, depressurization or anything like that causing it to go off.
And
so,
I've never seen a spray can, a mace without some kind of safety, whether it be a lid that goes over the thumb depress so you can't just hit it magically.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen one. I had one. I actually gave it to my sister-in-law because she was uncomfortable going at work at one point in time. So it was like, hey, I've got military pepper spray I got when they came on base and we're selling it. I don't need it. I don't use it. I have things that go boom. I know you don't like carrying a gun to work. She works with children. So do you want this mace? And she took it and she looked it over and she liked the safety features. Specifically because it had safety features. So I don't know of one that goes without some kind of safety devices.
Just wondering how it ended up go off on accident. That just seems
super sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was by accident. I think that dude was a dick.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just, oh, hey, I managed to get this on board. Let's see how bad it is. Oh, that's rough.
Do they know who it belonged to?
They do. They do.
Okay.
They did not disclose any of his identity. They did not reveal any more information about it. But
so, because I was gonna say maybe it could have been someone looking to maybe be able to do a lawsuit, like sneak the freaking pepper spray on board, or he accidentally snuck it on board, and when he got it there, he's like, "I can just."
He openly admitted he accidentally discharged it.
Okay.
He said they say he accidentally discharged it. So saying he accidentally discharged it and actually discharging it are two different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, no B guy.
No. A driver has been ticketed for swerving to avoid a falling couch on a Florida highway.
Huh?
Yes, even the cops are Florida special. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a couple driving home from Florida flipped and wrecked their car while trying to avoid hitting a couch that fell off of a truck. And though both escaped serious injury, there was no avoiding the $166 traffic ticket dropped off at the hospital where they were treated. That's right. Insult to injury. We had to swerve to avoid a falling couch, and we got a ticket for it. Jake Singer told South Florida Sun Sentinel that his girlfriend was driving on February 20th on I-95 as they returned to Washington, D.C. after a month-long visit to the family in Boca Raton. Singer said his girlfriend swerved to avoid a couch and that their 2006 Toyota Corolla struck the median and flipped over, and the truck kept going. The car was totaled. Both were taken to the hospital in ambulances. He said lucky to have survived, but the Highway Florida Patrol trooper showed up at the hospital to deliver the traffic ticket for failing to drive in a single lane. He gave us a ticket for basically swerving lanes trying to avoid a couch that was flying at us on the highway. Yep.
They could absolutely fight that. I can't see how there's any freaking merit to that whatsoever.
Singer said he attempted to reason with the trooper, brought the citation to the hospital, but the starting point is that you're giving us a safe road to drive on, and that's sort of the contract we have, but I'm pretty sure couches flying in the air break that contract, and we have to do whatever to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
And they still take it.
Yeah, at that point, once the ticket's already been written, they have
once they start the ticket, you're getting a ticket.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying all Florida cops are that bad. I was going to pick up my sister in Florida. She flew in. I'd been driving on the highway all day, so I was used to doing 65. I was doing 68 pulling out of the airport. And it was a long strip of road. I thought it was 68 anyways. I look up, I see a stop sign or a speed sign and a cop. Speed limit sign was to the right, cop was to the left. Sign said 45. I look down, 68. Look over. Yeah, I'm getting a ticket. I start braking. I'm like, shit. No, I'm getting a ticket. And my sister's like, no, you're not. He's not flipping his light on. Well, I'm getting a ticket today. I'm telling you right now, I'm getting a ticket. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm getting a ticket. I'm doing 23 over right now. Thankfully, I was in uniform. He came up. He was like, hey, why are you speeding so bad? I'm like, look, I apologize. I didn't know the speed limit. I don't live here. I don't come here often. I went and picked her up. I thought it was 65. I've been doing 65 the whole way. I apologize. You came back. You were doing 9 over. Don't fight this in court. Have a good day. Because in Florida, there's a super speeder ticket, which basically, if anything over 20, they can revoke your license and impound your vehicle. So when he said, don't fight the ticket, have a nice day, I was like, yep, you got it. Check will be in the mail next week.
Yeah, because like if you fight the ticket, then I'll just show the evidence of you going faster, and you'll end up getting in
when
more
they
trouble.
when they tell you don't fight it, they will show up that day. Normally, if you get a ticket and you try and fight it, as long as they don't say anything, you challenge it, you go to court, and they'll dismiss it. It's nothing more than a couple court fees. It might be $50 for the day. You'll get a state issued lawyer. It's cheap. It's easier to do than paying the ticket most of the time. But when a cop tells you don't fight the ticket, that's probably a good indicator saying if you fight this, I'm going in dry.
Yeah. Like, absolutely.
So pick your battles. That was not one I was going to win.
I had something like that happen to me in San Diego. I was on my way to the base, and in the morning, and I wasn't running behind or anything like that, but my exit was coming up, and this is in Southern California, so it's like 4 or 5 lanes of traffic, right? Yep. And it's in rush hour.
Oh yeah, you ain't getting across easy.
And I was in the far left lane. My exit is coming up, so I'm starting to try to get over. Well, I get right up to where I'm merging into the middle lane, and the dude next to me isn't letting me get over. Each time I slow down to get behind him, he slows down. Each time I speed up to get in front of him, he speeds up. So I was driving a 06 Volkswagen Passat at the time. So I dropped it.
Not a lot to get up and go for that thing.
Oh, no. That one, it did. It was a V6. Right. So I downshifted a gear, freaking dropped the throttle, hit 115, got in front of him.
God.
Got in front of him and look up and see a cop. I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, I'm getting a tip. I'm going to jail today.
Mm-hmm. But he pulled me over, and he actually didn't give me a ticket. He was like, just keep it under 80 and stay out of the left lane. Because I explained to him what happened. So
you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Oh, there now I've covered some stories where there's some corrupt cops planting drugs and shit like that. But if you talk with them, if you have a conversation, if you're polite, if you're not being fidgety and finicky and acting all nervous and scared when they come up and you're respectful, typically you can get off pretty easy. Yeah. Although there's also the race issues with that. Like the joke is, we can say, thanks for the warning, officer. Have a nice day. I mean, were you polite to the cop? Mm-hmm. I don't know why he hates you so much, but moving on. 1.5 million pounds or $1 million worth of cocaine found by a snorkeler in the Florida Keys.
Seems about right.
Yep, cocaine. Today's trend seems to be booger sugar. Yes, sir. 68 pounds of it. I think Grandma's got some competition. Snorkeler found 68 pounds of cocaine in the water around the Florida Keys on Wednesday. The snorkeler spotted the drugs floating in the water near Craig Key, which isn't uncommon. We've actually covered this several times where ships have wrecked. They've had to ditch the loot, ditch their merchandise because Coast Guard was coming up, stuff like that. So they we've even covered one where a turtle was trapped in a net with cocaine around him.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered that one.
And they'll also take and drop bundles of it off, out in the water and have boats come out and pick it up at night. So to try to keep it a little bit more clandestine.
Yeah. So this isn't uncommon, especially in Florida. This is why Florida is the drug capital of America. And why we have so many Florida man stories.
Mm-hmm.
My bread and butter. The snorkeler spotted the drugs floating in the waterway near Craig Key, according to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Cocaine was balled inside a black bag wrapped in tape. Bale contained 25 bricks of the drug. The Sheriff's Office turned the drugs over to the U.S. Border Patrol. Border Patrol said the drugs are valued at over $1.5 million. Investigators did not say where the drugs may have originated. 68 pounds. That's how much pepper weighs.
Mm-hmm.
That's like finding my dog swimming at you in drugs. Why? I want to save that 40-minute story for a little bit later. This Florida man was sentenced to 20 years in prison after cutting off his wife's lover's penis.
Sounds reasonable.
Gentlemen, need I reiterate, do not stick your dick where you would not stick your hands. Gears are a good start. Blenders are another one of those things. Another man's wife is on that list. Your friend's sister is another good one. Don't stick. Like last week, we covered the Florida man sticking his giblets into the shark.
And getting them bit off.
Yeah. Why does Florida man have such a problem controlling his dick?
Because he's Florida
Why?
man.
This Florida man tied up his wife's lover and held him at gunpoint and cut off his junk with a pair of scissors.
See, this sounds like a situation where he caught them in the act. And
It does.
And that's usually the worst time to be found out that you're a married woman's lover.
Why? I honestly, I don't know. I can see in the heat of a moment having aggression towards the man. I can see that in the heat of the moment.
Mhm.
But why are you taking your aggression out on him? He's not the problem. He's not.
See,
Because if your wife was loyal, she wouldn't have another man's dick inside of her.
Yeah, and then but there's also extenuating factors. If the dude doesn't know, I can give
Exactly.
But if the dude knows, if he knows what he's doing, then hey,
That's
then it's
basically
a different story.
That's basically any military member with anybody's wife.
Mm-hmm. But it's like fucking yeah. I can see it. It's like instead of killing the dude, it's like, all right, motherfucker, you tie him up, you fucking
Get a pair of rusty scissors, hold him at gunpoint, snip that precious little tidbit off.
It's like you chose the wrong woman, motherfucker.
Yep,
Hopefully
this
it's good
little
because it's
man
the
is
last
looking.
time.
He's looking to serve 20 years for his crime. Alex Bonilla, aged 51 years old, entered a plea of no contest last month on charges of kidnapping to inflict bodily harm, burglary while armed, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault with a firearm during the July 2019 attack. He is also serving 10 years of probation. The Gilchrist County Sheriff's Office said the victim called 911 at 11 a.m. on July 14th and said Bonilla, who was his neighbor, broke into his home armed with a gun and said that the victim tried to resist him, he'd kill him. From there, deputies said Bonilla forced the victim into the bedroom, tied him up, and then forcefully cut off the victim's penis with a pair of scissors. Records show Bonilla took the severed appendage and ran across the street to his own home. Why? We did cover a story like that where we did have a Florida man with a bunch of body parts in jars in his home.
My guess is he took it home to throw it at his wife.
Yeah, I can see that. Deputies never revealed a motive for the crime, but said Bonilla had discovered the victim having sex with his wife about 2 months prior. Court records show several friends and relatives of Bonilla wrote to a county judge asking for leniency before the sentence.
So he discovered them having sex, and it took a month for him to react.
Yep.
This is So this is
premeditated. He's looking at facing 20 years in prison and ordered to pay no more than $251,000. Well, I mean, premeditated with a gun, pair of scissors, and ran back to his wife with the penis.
So, and it's like he got sentenced 20 years, or he's looking to up to 20 years and 20 years probation. So they're
10 years probation.
So yeah, they're like, so after your 20 years, you're going to have 10 years probation.
And you got to pay this dude $251,000, which I'm sorry, if you cut my dick off, you better just kill me.
And I'd assume in that situation, if, because he's probably not going to serve the full 20, he's probably going to get out on parole at a certain point. And I'm assuming that 10 years probation doesn't start until after his parole is done.
I would imagine. I've never been to prison, so I wouldn't know. Do we have anybody from prison watching the show that can enlighten us on that a little bit?
Niko has some experience, but he's not on today, so.
Now, to move on with penis-related things, porn was playing during a Florida high school Zoom presentation. Fellas, if you do a Zoom meeting, close your tabs. Close them. Find your video later.
Or at least mute the damn thing.
No. Why? Titusville, Florida. A Zoom presentation for a Titusville high school class was cut short when somebody gained access to the session. So somebody came into the session and played porn during the Brevard Public Schools meeting. The incident happened on February 18th, and since Zoom officials and authorities have been notified, we have worked closely with our educational technology team as well as the administration at THS to reinforce security measures and protocols as well as providing additional training. The incident was reported to both police and Zoom security for further investigation. While incredibly frustrating, we want to assure families that we will continue to do all we can to provide a safe learning environment. You had porn. Now I can see how this happens. I saw an ad on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace yesterday willing to pay people for their Zoom links. So if you get a offer to buy a Zoom link that you have and you sell that link, you're probably going to have some brown chicken, brown cow playing during that Zoom meeting.
Well, I'd have to think that there are probably going to be some sort of types of charges coming up for that kind of stuff because that's wantful freaking disruption of those. So
plus, you also risk showing that material to those underage, which is a sex offender charge. If they have one person under the age of 18, I know you're doing that because you want attention. Needy mother. Yeah, be careful. Don't sell your Zoom links. This dude, I wish we would have found this article last week because it would have gone perfectly well with the golfing theme. This golfer has. Why would you not just do a mulligan? This golfer drowned while searching for his ball at a Florida country club. Yes, he was that stupid.
Oh, maybe he was partaking in the other pastime of golfers, which is beer or just drinking in general.
We'll get into that. But golf is an older man's game. I'm surprised my dad doesn't play it yet. He is up there in age. Sorry, Dad, if you're still watching, but this does seem like your forte. You need a bath today because you are shedding. This 74-year-old man was found dead after police say he drowned while searching for his golf ball at a country club in Florida. According to officials from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, the tragedy took place at the East Lake Woodlands Country Club Sunday morning, where 74-year-old Hermilo Jasmines was playing golf with a friend. That's when the routine Sunday morning took a turn for the worse. Jasmines teed off near the third hole and was last seen looking for his ball near the green. Authorities stated that they discovered the golf cart parked on the cart path and soon after uncovered his putter laying on the ground near the pond. They later dispatched their dive team, which located Jasmine submerged in the water near his putter. Jasmine was announced dead at the scene. According to investigators, evidence suggests Jasmine may have fallen into the water and drowned.
Fell into the water and drowned.
Well, so it sounds like he may have had a stroke, a heart attack. So I can understand. When I first read this article, I thought it was a drunk or high Florida man that just didn't know when to come up with it.
So, well,
but that's what we expect with us, Florida.
So if he was at the edge of the pond looking into the water looking for his golf ball, he could have had a stroke or he could have had a heart attack and fallen into the water. Because of a stroke or a heart attack, he's unconscious or halfway unconscious and drowns. Or he's looking for his golf ball and he falls in and maybe hits his head on a rock as he falls in or something, knocks himself
there's
unconscious.
so many different ways this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
But again, when I first read the article, I thought it was definitely drug or alcohol related.
Well, and even then, it still could be because they're just speculating that he fell in. Maybe he did actually dive into the water and was like
feeling ballsy and thought he could hold his breath longer.
Mm-hmm. Feeling ballsy because he was looking for his balls.
Yep. Bravo. Very funny. Very funny. Now, I'm sure some of y'all have seen this moron, Paul Miller, this Florida man. They're accusing him of calling for a race war. He's always in some kind of costume, Joker related, Riddler related, something like that. But the World Anti-Hate Organization has been following this man who was arrested by the FBI in Fort Lauderdale Tuesday. The Anti-Defamation League, which I hate the ADA. They annoy the shit. I can understand why they do their job, but they spam the hell out of your email. Never give your email to the ADA. Ever, ever, ever. No matter if I was trying to do an interview with one of them in high school and I was getting emails 4 years later.
Damn.
Yeah. They don't care. Once you're on that email list, you are on that list. But the ADA told Local 10 that its Center for Extremism had identified Paul Miller as a volatile white supremacist accelerationist. The organization shared its finding with the FBI, informing them that Miller was making videos holding weapons, calling for a race war. Miller was taken into custody on Tuesday around 6 a.m. in 1300 block on the Southwest 6th Street, known for spewing hate messages that were live streamed across popular and lesser-known social media platforms. Investigators said Miller often dressed in costumes inspired by movie characters. According to the ADA website, Miller dressed as a supervillain comic book characters as the Riddler and the Joker. As the Riddler, he would say, "Riddle me this before you go. I'm loud and obnoxious. I like the music that rhymes. I'm a fraction of the population, but commit half the crimes before using a racial slur." While it was Miller's threatening rhetoric that put him on FBI's radar, its Joint Terrorism Task Force reported that officers arrested him on charge of possessing a firearm as a convicted felon. Carla Hill, a research fellow for the ADA, said the anti-hate group had reported Miller last October to New Jersey law enforcement. By the end of the month, Paul had moved, and we tracked him to Florida. So he moved to Florida before he really screwed up. So Florida, yep, checks with chart. We feared that is the case. Paul Miller could escalate his activities. The ADL posted background on Miller in November where they described him as a New Yorker and New Jersey-based white supremacist, attracting fans on his Telegram channel. In one video, he spoke to more than 10,000 of his online followers. A swastika can be seen hanging behind him.
How do these people get so many followers?
I don't know. How the hell do we put out funny content? We can't even get 10,000. What the hell? Miller requested that he wanted to secure his own lawyer. In court, Miller said he was sorry about this. It was unclear if the apology was about not having an attorney or for something else. Miller will be back in court on Friday at 10 a.m. I can't agree with arresting him on racist remarks because we see lots of people, even rappers, put out a lot of racist crap.
Well,
but he did have a firearm on a video while he was a convicted felon. That's what killed him.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think that's why they managed to get him, but I think they were actively looking for a reason to arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
Being the fact that he was. Now, I don't agree with white supremacy in any bit. I don't think any race is supreme in any aspect. I hate you all equally.
Mm-hmm.
And every group has their own racists, exactly like Miller. I think because he was more white and pushing the white side of things, he was, because they're always trying to make the mainstream media tries to make out whites to be the bad guy more than anything, especially right now. They're trying to divide us greatly, and Miller is not helping. I don't think they had anything to really arrest him on as far as shouting racial. I mean, look at the KKK. They've been around for decades. They can't arrest all the KKK from what they say. Freedom of speech protects you for that. But he did get busted for
what? See, what I'm saying, my thoughts on it are, yeah, they used the whole him having a firearm as a convicted felon to arrest him because, like, the whole him having the firearm and starting a race war, no, that's not really an arrestable offense so much as it would be more of an investigatable offense because at that point, you know, he's potentially inciting riots. They're terroristic threats potentially.
So they put him on a watch list, which is what they did.
Yeah. So but the fact that he's a convicted felon and he had a weapon on him in that video, that gives them the reason to actually arrest him now, and then they can go trying to push the terroristic threats or inciting riots or whatever they're looking for on that kind of stuff.
Now, that's the reason why I wanted to cover this. I know it's more of a serious story, but I'm going to make fun of Miller because of this. You know the benefit of not being a convicted felon and doing a live stream?
You can have weapons.
I can do this.
But don't go threatening race wars or anything like that, all right?
No race wars. And if you see me running, you need to run too, because whatever the hell is chasing me is much more terrifying. In fact, we almost got in a fight at the docks today, and I took off my jacket, and they changed their tone of voice very quickly.
If you want to get technical, the proper term would be ethnicist.
Ethnicist, yeah. Even though I'm crippled, I am still a very big force to reckon with. And they learned that today. Oh, they were talking so much shit. They were talking all sorts of shit, and then I took my jacket off, and they saw, oh, he's a big bastard. Oh, he's a big bastard, and he's not afraid to get in the water and swim after us. We need to be more helpful now, because if he gets any more angry, he's going to rip my head off. Damn right I'm going to rip your head off. It's funny how quickly people change the tone of voice when you come at them very, very angrily. But I digress. Don't be stupid. Don't be a felon. And you can do stuff like this. Okay. Athen, I don't know why you wanted me to cover this one. I don't want to talk about this one.
Which one is this?
Why is China giving travelers anal tests for COVID-19?
Apparently, it's actually supposed to be a more accurate test than the nose swab.
I refuse to get the nose swab anyways. If you want to test me, you can take my blood. I'm not having you stick this much of rod in my nasal cavity. Let alone this much rod up an anal cavity. Exit only. I don't care how small. I am not looking forward to when I hit, 45 or 50, when I have to get prostate exams.
See, I don't know that they really have to get in there because it's testing the fecal matter. So they could actually technically just do a fecal sample.
Let me go take a poop real quick, wipe my butt, and I will bring you the toilet paper.
Well, shit, there goes my...
That will work!
But yeah, I read the article, and it says through there that there is evidence to support, like even the CDC says it, that the signs of COVID, the testable stuff for COVID, stays around longer and is more prevalent in fecal matter than it is in the nose and throat areas. So, and that's why China does the butt swab.
So if you're looking at traveling to China, expect to be violated.
So, and the reason it was an issue is because recently there were some diplomats traveling to China that had to get the anal swab. They didn't think they were going to have to, and then China was like, "Nope, you're getting the anal swab," and people were embarrassed. and felt violated. So
Yeah, I don't. Hard pass. Hard pass. Last one, and then we're going to open up for questions. So be sure, if you have any questions, get them ready. Because, again, we are actively trying to let y'all come and interact more. Third stimulus check update. Biden says $1,400 stimulus checks are coming this month, although he did promise $2,000 stimulus checks when he got elected. So don't hold your breath. Third stimulus check is part of a $1.9 trillion stimulus bill, officially called the American Rescue Act. I'm not going to read into this too much. I've seen enough of it. They're saying that, you're getting $2,000 total because you got $600 the first time around. So they're bullshitting their way out of this. But if you look at the bill itself, there's about this much pertaining to other countries, whereas the stimulus bill is only about a quarter of an inch thick. So that's why I don't want to read into this, because I know it's going to irritate the shit out of me. But expect nothing. Honestly, expect nothing.
you don't think they're going to be writing us $1,400 checks anytime soon?
No, I don't.
So, well, let's see, because they're saying they're supposed to start going out here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath.
We will see.
Yep. If you have any questions, now's your time to ask them. Please don't be shy. We've got 18 minutes. Ask away. What do you want to see more on the show? What do you want to see? They're going ape shit over there. Might help. I actually had my comments pulled up, so y'all are saying I've got Facebook open. Yeah, if you have any questions, don't be shy.
So far, Mickey. So, Desiree filed taxes, and we've already got our. Well, we haven't got our state back yet, but we got our federal. So I don't get tax returns because I have back child support. So my tax returns go bye. Have Gunny and What's Her Nuts started humping yet?
No, they have not actually started going at it. However, they are warming up. They're being less aggressive towards each other. They're actually playing with a ball together right now. All that squeaking and thumping here. Back and forth going apeshit, because Gunny has finally figured out how he can pick that ball up. And Pepper loves that ball. That's her toy. And Gunny wouldn't play with it for the life of me before Pepper came along. And now Gunny's like, oh, no, that's my toy. My toy. Daddy bought it for me. So it's yeah. That might be the most sort of.
So April said they asked me if I had cryptocurrency, and I was like, what? So yeah, on the tax returns, they asked you if you owned any cryptocurrency. That's because cryptocurrency right now is booming, and there's lots of people making lots of money on the stock market through cryptocurrency. And it's kind of being, well, first of all, it's a form of currency. And secondly,
if you haven't made money off of your crypto yet, no, you don't.
So
it's another way that they're going to try and hit you on paying more money to the government or not having them pay you as much back.
Yeah, it's just like if they ask you if you have any stocks on your tax returns, it's falling into that now, because even though you deal with cryptocurrency through the stock market, it's actually still a form of currency, and it can be acquired in other ways as well. Just like crypto miners, they don't do it through the stock market. They just acquire a bunch of cryptocurrency, and as it acquires value, the currency that they've mined accrues that value, and So
Yeah, I would, unless you're really making a lot of money off of it, I wouldn't claim it.
So I'm not a tax professional, so
No.
I can't really say anything regarding
Yeah, I
that.
mean, if you're a high audit risk, then yes, claim it. But I would, unless you're making thousands of dollars, I wouldn't actively try it.
So in a lot of these forms of cryptocurrency right now, if you're getting into, people are expecting they're gonna shoot up. There was some guys I play games with like a week or two ago. They were talking about a couple penny stocks right now that they're watching, because I guess they do a lot of work with the stock market, and they're talking about a couple penny stocks that they want to get into that, like right now they're at like less than a cent, and they could possibly go up to like $10. So yeah. So if you were to spend like $100 on a penny stock, say it's worth 1 cent each, and you spend $100 on it, and each of those shares go up to $10 each, you're gonna make a pretty amount. So, because what's 100 times 100? A lot. Here, I can do that math real quick.
100 times 100, take the 2 zeros added on, it's $10,000.
Yeah. So, well, no, that'd be 10,000 shares. So
now I do
10,000
have
shares.
I have Pi cryptocurrency. It's one you can mine on your phone, but it's not actually worth anything yet. I'm hoping it does come up. I do have a little bit of Dogecoin, but it does not seem to want to climb anymore. So I'm probably going to sell them at a loss.
So Mickey asks, where can you get into penny stocks? I mean, penny stocks, you can get, yeah, you can, any of the stock market apps. Remember, one of the banks I used to be with had a way to be able to do stock market. I think it was USAA I was with, allowed me to be able to
Durandal.
Buy and sell stock.
That was the sword. I finally found it. The sword's name is Durandal.
Okay.
Durandal is the sword of Charlemagne's paladin, equivalent to Arthur's knights. Roland, according to the Song of Roland, the sword was given to Charlemagne by an angel. He then gave it to Roland. It is said to contain within its golden hilt one tooth of St. Peter, blood of St. Basil, hair of St. Denis, and a piece of the remnant of the Blessed Virgin Mary. It is also claimed to be the sharpest of all swords. That's the sword I was looking for. I think you found the St. Galgano sword, which was believed to be given by the Archangel Michael.
Yep, the Galgado. So that's well, it's the sword was actually put there by a saint.
But yeah, the Durandal was the one I was looking for specifically. Although they did find a historical Japanese katana, which was so coated in blood, it turned the cleaner's water like rust color. And the sword wasn't rusted. In fact, the sword, when he touched the blade, it was still sharp enough to cut him just with direct contact. Normally with a blade, if you take it and you just touch it, it's not cutting you until you really either put a lot of force into it or drag it, and that's when it's cutting. This one, when he touched the blade, it cut his hand open.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't rusted. It was just so caked in blood.
And there's also a story about a Viking sword that was found in perfect condition on a Norwegian mountain.
I could not find that because I would completely repair it and utilize it.
Well, it's in the crazy.
If you didn't know, they actually made their own when they mixed bone in from their kills. They were making a bastardized version of a refined metal from the what's the material? The substance in bone, which would it actually made it a harder steel. It was more of a steel than iron because of the carbon content. That's what I was looking for. April asks, favorite homemade meal. I am fond of steamed or boiled potatoes with Heinz 57 sauce, a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper, parsley, and olive oil, and a filet mignon steak that has been seared, cooked in butter, rosemary, thyme, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic salt.
For me, oh, go ahead. You had a name?
A glass of wine.
So for me, I would have to say toss it between a few things, but I like it's a Chamorro style grilled spare rib or Korean style flanken ribs with a very basic macaroni salad, just basically macaroni with onions and mayonnaise, and then some white rice and Vietnamese style spring rolls.
I don't believe Vikings did any kind of Damascus making. I believe the first real history with Damascus was the Chinese, because they were known for folding steel hundreds, if not thousands of times to refine that blade.
The Japanese would be the ones as far as the pattern welding on it, but Damascus steel is actually Damascus is named after an area in the Middle East, Damascus, all that stuff. So that's where that steel came from, and then it got, so it was a really good quality steel to begin with, coming from Damascus, and then it would be used, and just from hammering it out and folding it as you normally would when you're creating swords, it would create the patterns in it because of the type of steel it was and the additives that are in it. And then the Japanese did a lot of folding, but they didn't do Damascus style folding, but they did do pattern welding. And when making their swords, they would put like a clay over the edge, so they would only harden.
It would harden. Mm-hmm. They would harden the edge, but they would leave the blade itself soft.
Yep. They would leave the spine soft.
It wouldn't shatter upon impact.
Mm-hmm. So
because if you especially with how they did it, they would quench in water, which would give it that curve. That's actually normally you'd start with a straight sword and you quench the blade slowly, and it would, as long as you did it right, the blade would curve upward. Mm-hmm. And that's how they got that well-known curvature to their swords. But
the
Vikings really only did basic sword out of iron with bone from like wolves and bears and humans mixed into it as far as like blessing it with the spirit of that being.
Mm-hmm. The Vikings did actually have some advanced skills in metalworking, though, because at the times that they were making iron and steel, there wasn't a lot of that around. So, but for the most part, no, they didn't have anything like Damascus. They may have done pattern welding, though. But
here's your fun Viking fact for the day. The Viking people were actively a clean group of people. In fact, they would take a bath regularly, usually once a week, and they would brush their hair. Therefore, the Anglo-Saxon women viewed Viking men more attractive than the other Saxon men, because the Vikings, or as they're actually known as Norsemen, Viking didn't come around till the 17th century. That term, 17th or 18th century, we didn't actually start calling them Vikings. And the horns also aren't actually a part of Vikings. Typically, it was just a rounded helm that came down. And of course, if they saw horns and what we put on them nowadays, they'd probably love it because they love violent, aggressive shit like that. So typically, when a Viking would go and pillage and they were clean and pristine, Anglo-Saxon women would, oh no, please don't take me, don't rape me. Oh no, don't do that. I don't want to be a part of your community. That looks like such a bad thing to, okay, my husband's gone. Please fuck me right here, right now. God, please. So the Vikings were actually one of the first group of people that believed in maintaining health and hygiene. And I think that's one of the first groups of people that actively cared for their other groups of people. In fact, there's a historian who states the first time you will see a civilization push for advancement is when you see a broken bone and they healed it, they treated it. Because normally, if you were injured and you were not trying to advance as a civilization, if you got injured, you were left to die. So if they were actively trying to treat you and care for you and better you so you could get back to the community, that's when they believed you were actively an advanced civilization, was the care for your people. Best Halloween costume I ever did. I've done a couple. I think the most fun one I ever did, I got banned from a public park. We were doing a high school group theater production of basically Little Red bastardized version of Little Red Riding Hood's original story, meaning the German story, the violent as hell, ate everybody story. And I had this insane prosthetic. It's not as nice as the ones you have nowadays, but this is 15 years ago. So this was a real well quality one. I mean, it had the like real teeth and everything. And it was the middle of the day, and I was making women, children, and grown men cry because I was so terrifying to them. I would go through the hay rides while they were riding around, pop out, scare the shit out of them. I would hide in bushes. A buddy of mine at the time worked at this park, was a blacksmith for him. He made me a chain that I could wear while we were there, and they put it on me. And my other buddy would hold me and then just let me go, and I would go and chase people. And we got kicked out of that park because I scared too many people. It was fun. Never went back to that place. It's called the haunted forest. You can't call it the haunted forest and not have scared kids.
Right.
Don't call it haunted if it's, we're going to watch your feelings and we're not going to scare you. This is just to make you feel good. No, I'm here to scare the shit out of your kids. I'm doing this to entertain me, not them. I also split the hell out of my pants back then. Oh, God. I had a split from butt cheek to belly button almost. Thankfully, I had a spare pair of pants in my car at the time. Another good one I did was my mom's terrified of clowns. So me being the good son that I am, I didn't invest in a clown mask. No, what are you talking about? Me buy a clown mask? No, blasphemy. She did not look me in the face for about a week. I love Halloween, man. That's my holiday. I'm working on a full horror. You know, I've got the Bride of Frankenstein. I've got the Jack-o'-lantern. I've got the kids in the graveyard. You know, I'm going on a full horror Halloween sleeve. I love scary shit. I'm actually looking at touching on my chest and going full Viking on chest and back. That's going to so painful, but it's going to look good. There is a group of I think it's silicone masks out there right now. I really want one. They're really, they actually move the mouth when you talk and everything. But they're $600. So I'd rather go buy another gun. But if anybody ever wants to see me scare somebody and wants to gift me a $600 mask for whatever reason because you had that money lying around, I will not complain, and I will wear that on the show. Although I don't know how it's going to be getting it on with a beard. Everybody I see that wears that mask, they have to apply baby powder. I mean, it's a skin fit mask. It's snug. So they apply baby powder, and I've never seen any of them with a beard.
Interesting.
Have you gone on any real investigations with Carl then? I have not. And the reason why is because me and Carl live so damn far apart. I live in Texas. He lives in Missouri. Now, if we can get the Second Amendment Ranch up and running and I can move up to Missouri, then yeah, I'll go on. That'll be another thing we can put out for content out there is some live investigations. Unless he decides to come down to Texas for a weekend, my weekends, which are Sunday through Tuesday, then it's probably not going to happen.
So we got about 30 seconds left. We should probably start wrapping it up.
Yep. We appreciate your comments, your questions. Again, every week we look at doing these questions. So if you have any questions for us, please ask them. Again, I said at the beginning, I'll say it at the end. The reason we do this show is to entertain and bring betterment to your life. The 22 a day is too many, and it's actually more with this COVID shutdown. It's closer to 30 and 40 a day of veterans taking their lives. Again, one of our founding members, if you're laughing, you're not crying. So that's what we're here to do. If you have a problem with me sharing our content to your page, then please just remove me. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to cause drama. I'm not going to bitch. Oh, you removed me. That's why we do this. We do this to bring laughs to other people. And then again, it's not just for the veteran community. We do this for everybody, especially the OSHA violations, the Second Amendment ranch, to the education and betterment of all people. So we look forward to seeing you again next Sunday. Please check out the other shows we have. Go to the WO Entertainment page on Facebook, WO Entertainment page on Facebook. We have a list of every show. We have a show every day of the week now. Every single day of the week, we have content coming to you. So please check them out. Support your shows. Some of us are putting merchandise out there. You can find mine on the Second Amendment Ranch page as well as the Second Amendment Ranch Discord, which you can find out. You can find tomorrow when I go live. You can get more updates for Warrior Fest November 5th and 6th coming up on the WoW Entertainment page. So if you're interested in joining us at Warrior Fest and meeting me in person and several other of the hosts, that's where you can meet us in person. We look forward to seeing you there in person so you can harass me for being an asshole. Other than that, Athen, you got anything to add?
Nope, that's about it.
Be sure to check out L Train Fighters page for any gaming and entertainment-based news as well as actual gameplay. I know right now they're doing a lot of Atlas. So if you like shipbuilding and pirates and stuff like that, that's where you need to go. But check everybody out. Give them a shout out. Tell them we sent you. If you're not a part of the family yet, give us a like, a share. Not a like. Give us a reaction other than like and a share. Tell your friends about us. Tell your family about us. We are trying to watch our language a little bit. We are getting better at that. It's you're dealing with two sailors. What do you expect? So we are trying to work on that. But as always, we appreciate y'all coming out on these lovely Sunday afternoons and evenings. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Hopefully, the viewers we did have a good spike there for a while. We hope that you have questions for us next week. And as always, I'm Cameron.
I'm Athen.
And it's 1700 somewhere.